And Brigitte, I got to tell you this, Bourget. I got to tell you this. I meet people and instantly like them sometimes. And I saw you, and you turned around, and you hit me with that beaming smile of yours, and I went, I got a friend. A friend.
Thank you. I felt the same way. And then we found a gecko friend, so that was very cool.
It was pretty fantastic. Did we get a show? Oh, we didn't because they didn't show up. But later on, those birds showed back up.
See, you were going to show me the birds, and then they weren't there, so I was very disappointed when I left.
There are two brown herons who just literally fly.
Brown heron?
Two brown herons who fly down on
I didn't even know that was a thing. I only knew of a blue heron.
I know. I thought white. Is
there every color? Are there pink herons?
They're big, too, by the way. These suckers are big, man. And they perch right there, and when they see me, they're like, oh, no, it's Jim. They just keep on drinking their water because they know I'm not going to F with them.
Do you think it's one of your grandparents?
It might be Kiki.
Oh, shout out to Kiki. Can we call it Kiki now?
We can call her Kiki. 32 grandchildren, by the way, made a cake for each one. Every single one for their birthday, except for me. She made me cherry pie.
Okay. It's like, oh my God, are we about to go cry?
Go in a really bad direction.
Very sentimental.
How do I put this, by the way? Every motorcycle you produce in Phoenix, Arizona is quality, handcrafted by Americans, for Americans, with 98% American-made parts.
Correct.
I think you put that really well.
And by the way, the parts that are not made in-house over at your factory, which is about 80%, are consumed from American companies who have the same American ideals that you guys have, correct?
Absolutely. And we're talking about long-standing companies. Like S&S has been in business for over 55 years. Jim's has been in business for over 55 years. The Belt Drive company has been in business for a long time. I've been doing it for 32 years. So we're talking about a lot of very well-established, hardcore American value companies.
Yeah, and one of these is so important, too. And by the way, I don't fault people who buy themselves a cheap old motorcycle in the beginning of the game.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
To do it.
Yeah.
Now,
buy the crappy guitar, and then if you learn to play it, get the nice one. Same kind of thing.
Well, and especially if you talk about people who grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the whole game was, I'm 11. I need to get a little motorcycle going on right now. And a lot of shade mechanics, a lot of kids put stuff together with their dads. I can't tell. I had a go-kart, by the way, with a lawnmower engine in it that we always were working on.
Very cool.
That's something that you have to kind of do in order to make the step to finally say, okay, I love this lifestyle. Now I'm ready to make an investment. Is it fair to say that those are the kind of folks you guys cater to?
100%. So I'm kind of known as the Lamborghini of motorcycles. So you don't start off with your first car being a Lamborghini. You've got to start off with a clunker, and you learn. And the bikes are they're engineered very well. They're big, they're fast, they weigh a lot. They're just incredible. And so you can't start off as a beginner on that. That's something that you work up to for sure.
So let's talk about, and we know your hook in comes from a family kind of situation, but talk about when this really, we talked about this yesterday outside, the idea of what hooked you. I always want to know, there's always a moment that somebody gets stopped in their tracks and say, man, this is it. This is the thing that I gravitationally am being pulled into.
I kind of stumbled into it, and then I realized that I really liked it, and I was sort of good at it. So I kept going at it. My actual first job was selling mobile homes. I was the first female salesperson in a trailer factory, and that's where I met my ex-husband, and this was kind of a passion of his. So it started as a side business, and then it overtook my regular job, and then just kept going with it. So I love designing. I love creating. I asked a million questions in the beginning, so I can tell you pretty much from front to back how they go together, how they work, and I think that helps me be better at my job, knowing the functionality of it as well as the overall aesthetic look of it too.
And here's the thing, there's a lot of interesting crossover here into the trucking world. Not only that, obviously a lot of our truck drivers love also riding motorcycles,
right?
And it's a weekend.
Yes,
it's like the perfect balance to go from that big rig.
Shout
to the
out
bike.
Jody Vale.
Right. I have a lot of customers who are truck drivers, and they have their bikes on their trucks in some way or shape or form. And so when they're down, they go riding.
Big rig to the bike.
Yeah.
But you're also, in addition to that, and we can break that down more. But also, being a female in a very male-driven world, the motorcycle world, we see this a lot. We talk about this a lot with women in trucking.
Yes.
Women in Trucking being an actual organization, but also just women who are in trucking.
Right.
And we've joked for a long time that sometimes whenever I see a female truck driver on the road, it's almost like,
you go, girl.
Yeah, but it's also like a beast in the wild. But that's becoming less and less the case. It's more and more happening.
Very more mainstream.
Women have been riding motorcycles since the dawn of the day, of course. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't as talked about it. But you come across to me as very authentic. And since it came through, it's something that you're passionate about. you weren't forced into this because it's not because your husband rode a bike. It's like you have a passion for it.
No, I actually don't ride.
Oh, you don't ride?
No.
Okay.
No.
But you
Which
design-
but I
Okay.
design. So we later on, 2010, 2011, we designed 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers. And I do ride those, and I have a 4-wheeler, but I've never ridden a 2-wheeler by myself. I'm very aware of what I can and can't do, and I'm scared to balance and shift and ride a 2-wheeler, so I just have stayed away from it. But I can certainly create them, but I'm not a rider. But to your point about women trucking, it's funny because Keyboard Carriage was the company that transported our motorcycles for years, and it was a husband and wife team. And it was the best thing when they would show up and pick up a trailer load of bikes. And I mean, they were older. They had kind of retired from another business and then picked up this truck driving thing to do together. And so it was very cool. Like, here's Grandma Annie, and she's picking up 20 motorcycles to take cross country. So it's very cool.
It's very cool. Well, just then to follow up or finish up with that, just about, at risk of making this a woman in a man's world. That's not what I
Right.
mean, but it's. I think especially even your, the sales side coming from the trailer park side. That's
Right.
that's a whole. I mean, talk about amazing characters that you saw.
Oh my gosh. Truck drivers, especially.
I bet. So
in
are you
that
seeing
industry.
that? Did that help play into your design? Because you were like living and breathing with the people that would be buying your product. So you got to know, have a visual, I would guess, of who you're designing for, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if you can say ass on the radio.
Sure.
You just said
did.
it, so why not
okay.
say it again?
So our saying is there's an ass for every seat. And so, and it's kind of, you can build the craziest motorcycle and people are like, oh my God, you're never going to sell that. Someone will buy it. And we design what people want. Every bike that I've built has been built to someone's specification. So you tell me what you want and I do it. And if you need help, I help you. But as far as like the designing them around people's lifestyle or their hobbies, and we have people that have done tattoos. Their tattoos are in their paint job. And we have had people build bikes that are for their corporation. So it all depends, but everyone's very unique and built to someone's specifications of exactly how they want it.
So cool.
This is, and by the way, look, I mean, the other motorcycle cultures, our good friend Peter Stark did a show with us one time where we actually talked about the 6 great horse cultures of the world. Where we talked about the idea that there's a great horse culture over in Mongolia, at the border of Mexico and America is a great horse culture. There are only a couple of great motorcycle cultures in the world.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that there are lots of motorcycle cultures around the world, but most of them are replications of the other cultures. You can make it. There's a case for German culture. There is a German culture of motorcycles.
Sure.
But it's America. It's America that we're really. It's America that we're really talking about here. It's
100%.
It's really funny, by the way, because Larry brought this in. I'd already made my pivot, by the way.
Pivot?
I'd already made my pivot to this. But this is a real American culture. I mean, motorcycle culture in the United States of America is a very distinctive kind. We actually can go back even further than Marlon Brando. I don't know if you know this. The first short story about a werewolf is actually an American story, and it's about car culture and motorcycle culture.
I did not know that.
It was a guy who actually wrote for magazines about the upcoming car and motorcycle culture at the turn of the century, really happening then, and it spends as much time detailing the cars and motorcycles in it as it does talking about the werewolf mystery at the center of it.
Very cool.
And it's because of the space of America. The space of America, the openness of it. The Germans have the same thing, the big roads and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But this really is a uniquely and distinct American culture we're talking about, correct?
It is 100%. 100%. The culture, the idea about it, everything is, red-blooded American all the way.
And so it kind of fits naturally. And our friend Larry Oliphant is here in studio. And one of the things that you guys are going to be playing a big part of is the America 250 experience.
Yes, I have been exclusively commissioned by the America 250 experience to build 4 very one-of-a-kind motorcycles. There's Old Glory, which is going to pay tribute to all of the American flags over the years. There's going to be the Declaration of Independence, which is going to pay homage to the Declaration of Independence. 250 years in July will have been signed. And then we're going to do a Lady Liberty bike, which is going to really drive home all of the aspects of the people that came over to America and brought their hopes and dreams with them and crossed through Ellis Island and now are, living their own American dream in whatever fashion that is. And then there's going to be a fourth one, which is just going to be called Freedom, and it's going to incorporate basically anything you can see, touch, feel, think, or imagine that is American that we enjoy as a freedom. So they're going to be very, very, I've done a lot of really cool bikes, but these will be above the level of all of those. So
and those
I'm very
will be
excited.
Available for the is it a limited time situation?
So they're going to be built between now and they'll be unveiled in July of 2026.
Okay.
There'll be a lot of social media blasts about them. There'll be hints and features and some little, some highlights over the next coming months, but they'll be debuted in July of next year.
And you can see some of the other one if you go over I'll spell it BOURGETS.com.
Yes.
Pronounce.
Bourgets.com.
BOURGETS.com. Let me just read some of their motorcycle model names are great. We've got the Fat Daddy, of course. You've got the Python, the Endeavor, but the whole series, the Addiction series, the Scorpion, the King Cobra, the Bobber, the Dragon. Let me ask you this. There's a lot of egomaniacs in the world.
I'm sorry, I'm in the room.
I'm
in the room.
I didn't look directly at you when
No,
I
She
said
wasn't
certainly-
looking at you.
You kept nodding your head in this direction.
I looked over your
Jesus
head.
H,
I
tap
looked over your
dancing
head.
Christmas.
Can somebody hypothetically call and be like, I want the Lindsay Lawler motorcycle? I mean, I guess for all the money in the world, you can get whatever you want. But I jokingly, but then also seriously, like how custom down to somebody's specific needs will you get? And I know it
Literally every part on the motorcycle with the exception of nuts and bolts.
Okay.
Literally
Once
every
again,
part.
I'm in the room. I'm in
Is
the
he
room.
nuts
Are you
or
a
is he
nut or a
bolts?
bolt?
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
both, I think.
Yeah, and so this is really cool, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. Sean McGee, really, really established, wonderful historian, actually was on the show on the 4th of July talking about the global imperial context of the Declaration of Independence. What Sean argues about the Declaration is that it's the greatest pink slip in history.
Wow.
Is that basically you're going to King George and going, you're fired.
Right, exactly.
We're
done.
over. We're done. Party. And he says,
Never call me again.
If you read it, it really is a pink
Yeah.
slip. It's like, you know what, dude? Not only what they basically say in that document is not only are you no longer our king, but kings forever are now done. We've
Right.
tried this experiment.
You're nobody's king.
It's an experiment now for not having kings. Good night and good luck. And so basically, you guys are creating a motorcycle for the America 250 experience,
Right.
Where you're going to drive around the country being like, "Oh, here's King George's pink slip."
Exactly.
And by the way, America, I think, invented the pink slip because before, when you got fired, they take you out and cut your head off and throw you.
I was going to say, I don't think you lived through getting fired back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, you ended up in a poorhouse, locked up in there. In America, it's like, no, you're just fired. Just go someplace else.
Go get a different job.
Go buy a motorcycle and cross a border and go work someplace. So become a member of the Free Soil Party.
Well, but
Yes.
Jim, that's actually a little bit
Cool.
a lot bit cool, but a little bit like, yeah, go get a bike and drive across the country. Say that jokingly, but also in all seriousness, it kind of goes back to a little bit to We Should Write, a little bit to Sarah Lee talking about photography, of these like ways that we find.
She's a big motorcycle lady too.
She
by the
is,
way.
but the
Big
ways we
motorcycle.
find ourselves in a new environment. So in particular, if you've never been on a bike, you go get on a bike, you do a cross country trip or a cross city trip, whatever it
Right.
is. You get that time to be like, oh, wow, I've only been on the back of a bike twice. And it was with a fabulous guitar player that was a friend of mine. And all the musicians in a band I was in, they would all go ride on the weekends. And I always wanted to be, I was like, I don't know what you're, and they'd reference it on stage. And I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. So they let me ride along with them one or two times. And it was, I could say if I would do that a few more times, I could see finding myself in that environment.
Yeah, it's something that just like you said, the hook, it hooks you. It's like, and a lot of people are born into it. Their families have, generations of riders. Other people just pick it up on their own. One thing that we definitely need is a new young blood generation in this industry, because there's a lot of the younger people that are just not
They're pansies.
interested.
Say it. They're
Exactly.
pansies. That's fine.
They need to get a pair and get on a motorcycle and go hit the road.
Yeah,
So-
by the
Yeah.
way, put on your big boy pants, put on your big girl pants, make sure it actually protects your knees and your legs, and get on the motorcycle that is America. By the way, it
Yeah,
is
you can't do
travel.
social media though on the back of a bike.
And
That's
by
the
the
problem,
way,
kids.
what you can do when you pull over, that's when you can give tribute. You can get a taste of America, you can travel a little bit further on your motorcycle, and then you can give a little tribute to America with a little social media. See, Larry's very delighted right now because I actually put the hook in there for the America 250 experience, which, by the way, Brigitte is very much part of. It is good to have you here. We got about 3 or 4 minutes left. I promised you 15. By the way, I didn't promise. You can stay on as long as you like, but we have time to wrap up the show. But we wanted to give you a chance. Where are you going next? Because you came down here, and we're so thrilled.
Yeah,
to have
why
you.
are you here?
Because
in
Arizona
New
is just as hot.
So I have a long loving history with New Orleans. I have a lot of customers here starting in the early 2000s, and we used to do the Steel Pony Express and Superdome, and then Katrina came in, wiped that out. And so that was a good show. That was, loved to come down. I love the French Quarter. I love New Orleans in general. And then in 2010, I believe it was, or 2009, I got a call from Larry Oliphant. He's like, hey, I'm putting together Bike Week New Orleans. Would you, come and be a part of it? And so we did. We brought our semi, we brought bikes, and we did that for a couple of years and really brought some life back into New Orleans. People were not
It was fun.
coming here.
It was fun, though. I'll tell you that. All of you guys, I want to be. I'm from here. I'm a New Orleanian.
okay.
My uncle Jimmy was lieutenant governor from 72 to 1980.
Awesome.
We are very connected. There's a lot of names that Larry has dropped on me. I'm like going, know them, know who they
Related
are,
to them.
understand? It's like
Put me in jail, got me out of jail.
Yeah, put me a lot of that. There's
Whipped
a
my
lot.
ass.
But, my mom and dad lived at the corner of West End Boulevard, and what at the time was Robert E. Lee at the 17th Street Canal. They got 30 feet of water in 13 feet of water in 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
They had evacuated. They knew what they were looking at. And the number of people like yourself, whether it was Tony Scott coming down to shoot Deja Vu, whether it was the Benson family making the idea that they wouldn't relocate, but in fact spend the money on Drew Brees. A lot of people like yourself and Larry made the investment in this great American city. And I was there 2 days after the breach happened. I got back in the city. I had a badge and a gun, so they let me do that kind of thing. And your voices and your efforts, I want to say, as we approach the 20th anniversary of those fateful last days in August, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And one of the other things that was going on here at that time, Stallone was filming The Expendables, and he
stuck around.
Yeah, we had the semi parked down by the convention center, and he happened to come by and see the motorcycles. Like, oh my God, I need these for my movie. I need these for my movie. So we ended up leaving the semi with all of the motorcycles on it down here for about 3 months for them to film Expendables 1, and then they used the same motorcycles again in Expendables 2. So that was very cool. So it's cool to come back to New Orleans. I will say the last time I was here was May 11th, 2011, and my mom passed away at home, and I had to say goodbye to her on the phone from the Hotel Monteleone. So this is kind of a bittersweet trip back.
I'm glad you're back.
Wow.
I'm glad you're
Let's
back.
things
reframe
I love
it.
about
We're
it
going to
again.
reframe
By the
it
way, you're
for
talking
you.
to an
Yes.
Irishman. You're talking to a full-blooded Irishman. I got the heart so big it'll crush this town. I'm totally right
What's
there
your
with
What's
you.
your mama's name?
Susan Bring.
Susan Brings. Susan brings joy, and she is here with us, here with you in New Orleans.
There's
This
an extra spot here. She's actually talking in the
She
interview.
is, and of all
100%.
cities, this is the city of spirits. So this is a good one to feel close to.
Yes,
I bet.
no, I'm glad to be back and bring good memories back again. So
We're glad to have you. We've got about 1 minute left here. I want to go back to the America 250 experience and talk about, we got the motorcycles. You've told us what they are. They're going to be traveling. They're going to be out there. They're going to be part of, and this is really about the road. This is really about the American road experience. As we say, we not just traveling, but we're going to taste, we're going to travel, we're going to tribute.
Right.
And this really kind of ties into it as well. This becomes one of the vehicles that does that for us, right?
correct, yes, and we're hoping to bring in, again, just reunite everybody again. America 250, the celebration of who we are, our country, and everything, and bring trucking into it, bring food into it, bring bikes into it, and just have a hell of a celebration.
A celebration.
A celebration.
A
There you go.
celebration.
Tell our
yeah.
guests goodbye.
Bourgets, Bourgets.com is where you can check out the bikes, find out what's going on. Also hit them on social media. They'll be teasing a lot over the next year.
Yes.
You are a lovely human, and we can
Thank
put our
you,
stamp
as
of
are you.
approval on everything you do. Thank
Well,
you for
I'm
being
very
here.
pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Lovely humans all around, by the way. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left here on the show. Big thanks to all of our friends, many of whom stuck around for quite a long time. We have an audience shift that usually happens towards the end of the show. A lot of people hung around for the ride today, pun intended. Lindsay Lawler is here. I don't know if you know this, Bridget, but Lindsay's debuting a new show today.
I'm
Brand
so excited.
spanking
I
new.
have like total butterflies
She's
in my
owned the rights.
Congratulations.
She has owned the rights to that domain for 17 flipping years.
Wow.
And people have tried to sell it. And of course, when you hear the name of the show, you'll get it. We Should Write. Can you imagine the number of people have been like, I'll pay you for that? And I don't mean like, I'll pay you $50. I mean, people have come and, nope, it's mine. Nope, it's
held
mine.
it, much to my husband's chagrin. Sell it. No, but where it's something that I'm very passionate about, and it's again what I was referencing about the bike. I think people should write. It's about the healing power of writing. We will have songwriters, authors, creatives of all types on the show talking about how and want to be clear, these are conversations, not interviews. These are
Sure.
conversations. People aren't coming on the show necessarily to promote something.
I couldn't believe Ryan Pote today, though. So we have this young
my gosh,
man
yeah.
who is a American hero. Came on the show. His first book is Blood and Treasure.
wow.
It's in the works to be made into movies. He's a friend of Mark Graney, who's a friend
You'll
of the
know
show.
his name this time next year. One of those guys.
Perfect.
Of the Gray Man and all that. And we ended up, he just had been booked in advance. It was the kind of thing our listeners like. It's an audio book as well. It's really thrilling. It's a combination of like a Tom Clancy novel and Raiders of the Lost Ark and a little bit of Gravity.
Oh, it
mixed
sounds
in.
amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is
Yeah.
a lot of fun. And he knows of what he writes too. And Lindsay and I start interviewing him. And he, without being prompted, ends up explaining that he began to write as a therapeutic model to work out some of the crisis and trauma he'd experienced as a helicopter pilot in narco country.
Wow.
And it ended. We're sitting there looking at each other, going like, "It's
We're
your
like,
show."
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
This is
It's this grand.
and
preview
those
of
are
the
the things, and something like that, so simple but also large. Those are things to me. It's like, okay, we're on the right track. This is something that's important. It's for our drivers out there, albeit if they're on a motorcycle or a truck. A lot of people don't. I'm a tough guy. I don't need to be a softie. And drivers for a long time. I remember when I first started singing the Highway Angel song in public. It's a song that I wrote about truckers who've saved lives out on the
very
road. It's
cool.
a beautiful program that TCA puts on. But anyway, I remember, I'll never forget this one guy. His name was Larry, as a matter of fact, truck driver. And he was standing right in front. I was performing at Matt's, and he was right in the front in the middle of a crowd. Big burly guy. He'd been messaging me online. He's like, I love that song. I'm coming to the show. He's standing there in overalls right in front, hat, long hair, and just like bawling right in the front. And it's a permission slip. Music is a permission slip. And I think writing in general is a permission slip to get our stuff out. You don't have to show it to anybody ever.
No.
It's cheaper than therapy, and it's, gosh darn it, more honest than therapy. I went to therapy one time, and I was
100%.
like, I just spent money to lie to somebody for an hour. I'm not doing that again.
I tell my therapist the truth. He actually fired me.
Yeah, fair enough. He's like,
That's enough. I don't
that's
need
too much.
Hear,
There's no degree in the world that's okay for
Yeah, and
that.
I can say shit too. I mean, he's like, get the shit out of here.
Get the shit out of here. So anyway, that's what the show is. It launches today in 1 hour, T-minus an hour and 5 minutes. And Fred LeBlanc of Cowboy Mouth is our first guest because if we're doing it live here from New Orleans, it had to be a New Orleanian. He is a tried and true New Orleanian. And I mean, he's a New Orleanian through and through.
Oh, he's a New Orleanian. He got the same deep fried accent that I got.
He does.
That unbelievable deep fried.
And he said, by the way, he said to me, he's like, no one ever asked me about my songwriting, which is interesting as, kind of a rocker, a punk rocker guy. And I think lyrics get disguised and jump around sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, very excited
What
about
is the
this
name
show.
of your show?
We Should Write.
Oh, very cool. You probably said that, and I
No,
didn't catch
actually,
it.
the way we kind of framed it was like, is it We Should Write? Yeah, it's We Should Write.
And so our tagline, oh, by the way, let me pull my shirt up and show you. We should write.
Very cool. Well,
Right?
congratulations.
We should write, right? So it launches today. It will be live at noon. And everybody listening, by the way, and on the YouTube chat, whether it be Road Gang Radio, Nemo Nation, We Should Write, Nemo's Night Beats, or anything else coming up in the future, it helps us when you listen. It helps us when you listen live, and then it helps us when you go back and download. So if you like the content you're getting, please keep listening. Please keep sharing. I hate to sound like NPR, but we can't do this without you. And if you don't listen and you don't share, we'll go away and we'll be homeless wandering the streets of New Orleans and it's hot. So
Well,
please keep
you will be.
Please
I'll go-
like,
I'll
subscribe,
go-
share, all of those things.
I will
right?
go live with my family. I don't know
I
what
will
you're going to
too.
do with myself. But
I'll be
live
living
here in
with
New
your
Orleans.
family.
You can live with my family. They're actually
Yeah,
really
she'll
great.
be she'll be
By the
living
way-
with your family too.
By the way, they'll just think, is this a new cousin we weren't aware of?
They wouldn't.
They
I
even-
feel like I would just be something on the shelf. They'd be like, "Oh, hasn't she been here all along?"
Did you get a chance to eat any place cool?
Not yet. Not yet, but I do plan to today.
Have the gumbo tonight. It's going to be really good. It's
Okay.
It's andouille sausage gumbo.
I'm looking forward
little
to
potato
it.
salad going along with that as well too.
Perfect.
Like a real New Orleanian. Guys, this has been Road Gang Radio. You can hear us on the tube of you. This content that you just heard will be available in short order. Make sure when you hear about it. Is there a hashtag for the America 250 experience?
It is America250experience.com.
America250experience.com. Make sure you actually check out that as
Now,
well.
how'd you
guys.
come up with the website?